Good evening, everyone. My name is Iska Plummer, and this is my final project for EDU 620. As you can see on your screen, you have my Weebly website. This Weebly website is designed for my AP Spanish course. The levels that I serve within this course are levels 10 through 12. And once again, my name is Iska Plummer. I decided to add a brief introduction of who I am. I was born in Costa Rica, proud graduate of Universidad Latina de Costa Rica with a Bachelor's of Art degree in education. I have a post-baccalaureate and I am finishing my master's with Thomas University. A little overview about this AP Spanish class. The AP Spanish course is intended for the highly motivated and capable student who will benefit from a more accelerated pace of learning and additional, more challenging areas of study. Our AP Spanish language and curriculum is composed of six thematic units. These units are established by College Board. Those six thematic units are personal and public identities, families and communities, science and technology, beauty and aesthetics, contemporary life, and global challenges. For this specific lesson, we will focus on theme one, which is personal and public identities. In Spanish, identidades personales y públicas. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to identify themselves and others with regards to race, ethnicity, gender, appearance, religion, and family structure. This lesson seeks to provide students with the knowledge, skills, and attitudes they need in order to recognize themselves as individuals and help them become more understanding of others. Its goal is to also point out the different factors that determine a person's identity and to understand that an individual is not only identified by their race, but also by multiple factors such as their personal beliefs, sense of self, culture, family, nationality, age, gender, abilities, and personal interests. Within my Weebly, I decided to also add my lesson objectives. As you know, AP themes do not have standards. This is considered a college course. Therefore, each theme has objectives. Just to name a few for this lesson, I would say that students will be able to identify the key elements in defining one's identity. Students will be able to talk about self and others and express ideas and opinions about personal belief and preferences. And students will be able to recognize the contributions of multiple factors in a person's identity, among other lesson objectives, as you guys can see. Right here, we have my lesson plan. This lesson plan contains a breakdown of all the things that my students will be completing throughout this theme. It starts with an essential question, define our personal identity, who are you as a person, what are your roles and obligations to society, and it is broken down in different activities. The first, a listening activity, for which they will listen to a recording about Lina. She's talking about her identity. And then students will go ahead and answer a few questions based on this recording. Let me play the recording so you can hear. After completing that activity, students will work in pairs and determine whether there are similarities between Lina's personality and theirs and what differences they can notice. Activity three, they will record a presentation of themselves, and amongst other activities that will help them accomplish the lesson objectives. Going back to my Weebly, I also embedded within my Weebly, additional activities because, as you know, learning a foreign language implies that you have to learn vocabulary related to the topic or theme. So I divided these in three main sections: the enter, engage, and express section. The enter stage will have my instructional video. This video contains the vocabulary students will need in order to navigate through this theme. Okay. Next, we have a Padlet. This Padlet is pretty cool. It has 5 different tasks related to the same theme that students will follow, and it is directly linked with my lesson plan. So they will complete an audio, they will complete a personal shield of their 4 core values that they follow in their lives or that they can describe their lives as, and a couple more activities related to situations in which um, students will be able to identify themselves or their identity through those situations or scenarios. Back to our Weebly, I have a peer discussion. This peer discussion will be based on the Prezi presentation I created for them that has the vocabulary words and related themes within the same topic, related topics within the same theme of personal and public identities. This Prezi, as you can see, oh, oh sorry, yes, this Prezi has different elements related to public and personal identities. Once they're done, students will go ahead and discuss with their partners 5 main aspects that they were able to learn from the Prezi presentation. After that, students are asked to complete a quick quiz. This quiz will help gauge and identify what students have acquired so far. They take the quiz, and once they are done taking the quiz, it will provide them with immediate feedback in regards to what questions they received they had right or what questions they had wrong, and students are able to make corrections. After the quiz, they will practice and prepare for the cumulative test. In order to prepare for that test, I added 4 activities, 4 different interactive activities. One of them requires for students to go to Quizalize, enter this code, and once they enter the code, they will be able to, let's say your A, they will be able to complete las identidades personales y públicas. They will be able to complete a vocabulary practice that will allow them to practice the terms. So character, carácter. Okay, this is just an example. After working on that, they have another activity on Quizlet that will allow them to practice their vocabulary in different ways. They can practice vocab words through flashcards. As you can see, different flashcards. They can practice by working on the learn option. They can practice this learn option. They can practice by working on the writing of the vocabulary words. They can learn how to spell the words. And they can also play two games, Match and Gravity. After working on this Quizlet, they also have another interactive activity in Study Stack. So Study Stack will allow them to practice their vocabulary in different ways. They can play hangman, or in this case, snowman, with the vocabulary. They can complete a crossword with the same vocabulary related to personal and public identities. They can also, in Study Stack, play Hungry Bug, which is a bug that is on a table eating. Whenever you choose the correct answer, it eats the word chosen. And activity 4 is a Nearpod. This Nearpod, all students have to do is click on the link, enter the code in order to access the actual Nearpod activity. Once it loads, I have a lot of browsers, and then they can proceed with working on the Nearpod quiz. So all of these activities are geared towards practicing the vocabulary and the terms related to personal and public identities. Once they are done with that, students have a can-do checklist. This can-do checklist is designed to help students identify what areas they need they need reinforcement and what areas they have mastered. All they have to do is read the options and check off which of these they can do and leave blank the ones they cannot do. If they can do 7 out of these 10 options, they can proceed to the assessment. If they cannot do 5 out of these 10 options, they have the option to remediate. And here is the link for remediation. They go back to Quizlet and they practice the terms a little bit more. Once they have completed this, they proceed to their test. I find this Weebly to be very, very, very helpful, as students will be able to find everything they need for each unit or theme in one place. They won't have any confusions. Everything is clear and straightforward. Thank you so much for listening. Good night.